Hi and welcome. My name is Cassie. I'm a pre and postnatal yoga teacher and exercise specialist. And today I'm going to guide you through a 10-minute Pilates class focused on your lower abdominals. So this is the area between your belly button and your pubic bone that for most of us is pretty difficult to feel or connect with, especially after having a baby, and even more so potentially if you had a C-section where the abs were cut through. It can make the communication between your abdominal muscles and your pelvic floor, they have connections. It can make feeling your lower abdominals kind of tricky. So I encourage you to be patient and know that as you revisit this class and you do it over and over again, you will start to be able to feel it more in your body. With that, we're going to be using a Pilates ball, a mini ball here. And to get started, we're going to begin on our backs. Start by rolling onto your side, then your back. And place the ball between your inner thighs, just about an inch or two below the knees. And then take the heels of your hands to your hip bones and your fingers towards your pubic bone. So if you look up, you have a triangle-like shape with your hand. Close your eyes and take a few moments to center your body. Connect with your breath. As you breathe in, expand the rib cage. Allow the belly and the back to fill up. And then exhale out of your mouth, letting all of that air go. One more deep breath like this. Breathe in, expand the ribs, fill the belly, fill the back. And then open your mouth and sigh it out. With your next inhale, tilt your pubic bone away from you so that your hip bones are higher than your pubic bone. And then as you exhale, reverse that. Curl your pubic bone towards your belly button, flattening your low back on the ground and feeling your hip points pull towards one another. Keep that going. Inhale, send the pubic bone away from you, creating that space between your back and the floor. Exhale, pull your pubic bone towards your belly button, drawing your low belly in and your hip points together. And take this a couple more times, just rocking back and forth with the pelvis, creating that tucking of the pelvis by using your lower abdominals, not by squeezing your glutes. You want to try and keep your butt muscles relaxed as you do this. Let's take it a couple more rounds. Starting easy with it, just finding that rocking motion back and forth. And now settle in a neutral spine somewhere between those two places. From here, you're going to begin to exhale and squeeze in on the ball. And then inhale, release that. Just focusing on the inner thighs for now. Exhale, squeeze in on the ball, feeling that equal pressing in. And then inhale, release. One more time, just the legs. Squeeze in on the ball. Release the ball. Now as you squeeze in on the ball, you're going to lift your pelvic floor muscles. So exhale, squeeze in on the ball. Lift your pelvic floor like an elevator. Start to curl your pubic bone towards your belly button and pull your hip points together, slightly flattening your lower back. And then release that, come to a neutral spine, release the pressing in on the ball. Right, so a lot of things are happening here. Exhale, squeeze the ball, lift your pelvic floor, tilt your pubic bone towards your belly button, hip points together, see if you can start to feel those lower abdominals, and then release all of that, neutral spine. Twice more. Exhale, squeeze, lift, pull hip points together, pubic bone towards your belly button, down and in, and then release it, neutral spine. One more time. Exhale, squeeze ball, lift pelvic floor, pubic bone towards belly button, hip points together, try and hold it for 3, for 2, and 1, neutral spine. Now squeeze it on the ball, keeping a neutral spine. Lift your hips straight up, finding a bridge pose, long diagonal from your knees to your hips to your shoulders. And we'll begin that pressing in on the ball as you exhale. Squeeze the ball, lift the pelvic floor. Inhale, release. Your pelvic floor connects into your lower abdominal, so squeeze the ball, lift the pelvic floor, and then release. If your back starts to bother you, you can lower down a hair and try and squeeze your glutes more. Twice more. Squeeze in on the ball, lift the pelvic floor, and then inhale, fully relax. That one more here. Big inhale, big exhale, squeeze the ball, lift the pelvic floor, and lower your hips to the ground. You can take that ball away, rock side to side. And now you're going to bring your legs into a tabletop position with the ball between your inner thighs. You can keep your knees right over your hips. That'll make it more challenging. Or if you need to make it a little easier, bring your knees slightly in front of your hips. You're going to press in on the ball, find that curl pubic bone toward your belly button, and see if you can lift your hips 2 inches off of the ground. Hands go by your sides to help you out. So as you exhale, squeeze the ball, see if you can lift your hips off of the ground, and then come back. Keep going with this. Try not to use momentum. Instead, use the exhale, squeeze it on the ball, lower abs, pelvic floor, lifting to try to move your hips up to the ceiling. And again, as you come back to this, it gets easier. So if it's not happening today, that's okay. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Let's go for another 4. Exhale, squeeze, lift for 3. Try to relax your upper body for 2. And 1. Good. Roll onto your right side. Come up on to your forearm. Take the ball between your inner thighs. Rock slightly back on the hip so your top hip is behind the bottom hip a little bit. And now as you exhale, you're going to think of lifting your bottom thigh towards the top thigh. And then release. Exhale, squeeze the ball, flatten the lower belly. In fact, you can take a hand right above your right hip bone. Try and feel that area tense up, pull in, and then release. Exhale, squeeze the ball, lifting the legs up, pulling belly down, not out, down and in, and then release. One more time, pull it in, and release. Switch sides. Come on to your left hip. Squeeze the ball. Again, rock your top hip ever so slightly back. Top hand can go to your lower belly, right above your hip bone. As you exhale, you're squeezing the ball. Think of flattening that low belly. Lift your bottom thigh towards your top thigh, and then release it down. Exhale. Really focus mind to muscle on that space right above your left hip bone, engaging and going down. And you should be able to feel a little bit of affirming in and up regardless of how much fat or extra skin you have there. You should still try and feel a little firming under it. Good. Let's take 2 more. Exhale, squeeze, flatten, pull in and down. 1 more. Exhale, squeeze, lift, and down. Final exercise here. Come onto your hands and your knees. You can be on your hands or your forearms if you want to give your wrists a break. Ball is still between the inner thighs. And now you're going to draw the tailbone slightly under, so that same motion of pubic bone towards your belly button. Curl the toes, make sure that the knees are under your hips, your shoulders are above your elbows. You're going to exhale, squeeze the ball, lift the pelvic floor, and see if you can hover your knees 1 or 2 inches up and lower down. If that's too much, don't lift the knees, just squeeze in on the ball, lifting the pelvic floor. So here we go. Let's go for about 3 of them. Exhale, squeezing in, lift the pelvic floor, and lower down. Gazing straight down in front of you, neck is long. Lifting up and down. Thinking of curling pubic bone towards your belly button, hugging everything in towards your center. And release. One more time. Exhale. Hip bones together, pubic bone towards your belly button. Squeeze the ball, lift up. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And go ahead and release. There you have your 10-minute lower abdominal focused Pilates class. If it felt challenging today, remember that the more that you come back and you do it, the easier it can become. This area especially can take a little bit of coordination between our mind and muscles to get that area waking up. So be patient with yourself, love your body, and if you enjoyed today's class, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel and check out the other core classes that I have in the description below.